stuff that we're just talking about? Because you always say the best stuff like 10 seconds before you hit record.
Yes, when we're most relaxed and
Yeah,
not
and then as soon
so
as you hit
nervous.
record, it's like, I've got nothing to say, nothing good to say. So what did I say?
Ain't that the truth?
My theory for most things is to is to just keep going long enough to see if something happens. And you said that's your powerlifting career.
That's my always been my approach to powerlifting because I started when I was 55, basically first comp when I was 56, and thinking I was too old and whatever, and here I am 10 years later into my 10th year of powerlifting. It's like, what, I'll outlast all the bastards.
Right? Well, you've got to your
Trouble is, all of those new chickens are coming up.
right. You got to beat up the young ones.
Yeah,
Oh,
but
that's what I
that's
was so.
basically I've been my approach to the sport. It's like two things: have a go,
Mhm.
and secondly, is just keep going.
Just keep going.
Just keep going.
The Dory approach
Keep
to life.
swimming. That's
Yeah,
right.
just keep
Exactly what
swimming.
was flashing through my head just then.
Uh,
Yeah.
um, so right for the year before I had the strokes, I took up running because I mistook heart failure for a lack of fitness. So that was my mantra when running. I was doing 5Ks like a few times a week, and I had a running coach, and he was really encouraging. He's a marathon runner, so he thought everybody should run all the time because he loved it so much. So I'm like, Simon loves running. I'll learn to love running too. And so I literally had Dory playing through my head the whole time. Just keep running, just keep
Just
running,
keep
running,
running.
running.
Just keep running.
And you're right. I think it's a perfect transition into powerlifting. The just keep going because you're never going
Yeah.
to
Well,
get you don't get
everyone
strong after
talks.
one rep, do you?
100%.
Right.
Everyone talks about consistency of training and whatever, and the consistency of programming, blah blah blah. But if you don't actually turn up at the gym to
Mm.
do anything, you ain't going to go anywhere. So yeah,
The
just keep going.
consistency bit I think is the most overlooked part of all the whole journey because I've seen some rubbish terror like what could objectively be considered horrible programming
Oh,
on people.
I have done some in my early years. Yeah,
And
yeah.
these people have consistently done horrible programming for 10 years and won world championships on their horrible programming because they are relentless at turning up.
Wow, that's a really good adjective too. Relentless. Yeah, yeah, yeah. And it's funny you should say that because I am relentless, and I do approach my training with a lot of intensity, and because I'm always thinking, oh, am I going to beat that? Am I going to beat that Swedish girl Katarina Katarina Bergmark? She beat me at Worlds last year. It's like, man, her bench press. I'll never catch up with that, but maybe I'll keep pace with her with squat and dead. And it's every time I train, I'm thinking of beating her. So yes, you have to be relentless. You have to be relentless in your approach and in your goals and in your thinking. It's not. I like going to the gym with people. The social aspect is not to be denied or downplayed. But I'm there to work.
Hmm.
And it's not just the physical stuff, it's the mental stuff. We all know what it's like to be able to get in the kind of in the zone, in the flow when you're training, and you just head down, bum up, basically. That was last night. I was interacting with folk in the gym last night and getting their input on my squat depth and but I had my head down and bum up, and by the time I took off my headphones, which is the universal signal in every gym that, oh, now you may approach me. The Queen has taken off her crown. She's now approachable. And
Like that.
and there was
Hello,
nobody
hello,
around. It's
people.
like, where is everybody? Yes, exactly. Where is everybody? I didn't even notice everybody had gone.
Oh my god, who's going to tell me I did a good workout now? I'm meant to tell everyone about how good I feel, and there's no one
Oh,
here for me.
that's when you post your training video. Of course.
Right, right. See, I missed a lot of this because I predominantly trained by myself at home in my garage for the longest time,
Yep,
um,
yep, yep.
and I also perfected the art of headphones without headphones. Is that like I don't like wearing headphones. I'm pretty against them for a bunch of reasons, but they're all just kind of pedantic reasons. They're not really great reasons. Um, but so I won't wear them. I also tend not to listen to music when I train as well, which is when people would want to come and train alongside me or with me. Most people found that a little bit intimidating because then I wouldn't talk either in between sets and I would stare a lot. So the greatest trainer, I think I'll put him down as the greatest training partner I ever had was Rex Parsons, who was a fair bit younger
Oh
than me.
yeah.
He was at uni when he started, and we really enjoyed training together because he would come around with 2 liters of choc milk and a bag of donuts. 'Cause that's what I would charge him for personal training. Poor uni student, so we'll go. Oh, let's get some benefit for both of us. It's I won't charge you, but we need in workout snacks. So choc milk and donuts. That's what we'll have. And Rex was quite happy not talking in between sets and could tolerate it and was very comfortable within himself that he could handle me just staring at the wall for 5 minutes in between heavy attempts because that's what I did. And so he picked up a lot of my quirks and weird behaviors as well, which makes it hard for him to be in gyms and act semi-normal.
I do think though that the headphones, all those tiny little
Oh, the
in
earbuds.
in yeah, the earbuds, which I can't bear myself. That's so it has to be headphones. But yeah, it is the universal signal for I'm trying to get my head down and bum up here, and
Hmm.
do not approach it.
Yeah, I just take it
But
now that
it's
I
so funny too because last night,
yeah.
for example, I was doing my pendulum squats, and I wanted to get a set of 8 done in my soft sleeves for the first time at a load that I had done before in my stiff sleeves, right? So going like the clappers, and I get to rep 6. I'm like, I'm not ready to give up yet. So I leaned across to the guy who's on the next machine to me. We both had headphones on, right?
Hmm.
And all I could do was to reach out with it. Well, I'm still in the pendulum. Was reach out and go. Finally, get his attention. Can you come and spot me for 2 reps? And you're using sign language. 2 reps.
Did he figure it out?
Oh yeah. These young people, they're really clued into stuff like that. No, it was yeah. I like listening to music. I get revved up
What do you listen
using
to?
I love electronic genre. Anything electronic-y. And I'm very glad to say that I'm inculcating that into my grandchildren. Well, at least my grandson. He's 6.5 now, and he loves rave and techno, and the harder the better, the harder the better. So this morning in the car, Josie, my granddaughter who's 8, nearly 8, she's not quite 8. She requested something that she knows I like, White Flag, and not now. How's it go? I can't remember the artist. Don't wave that white flag, no. This time I won't let go. I ain't giving it up. I'd rather die than give it the fight, give it the fight. And she loves that, and I love that too. And then it was Roey's turn to request a song, and his was, I want Bomb Acid. Bomb Acid, baby.
Wow. Okay. That's their school music teachers are going to live off them for the year that they do music in school. Their music teachers are going to love them just because they'll be the only people not talking about Taylor Swift or whatever's on the top 20. That's really cool. I like that.
I'm quite proud of that, actually. I mean, his dad, my number one son, I've got 2 sons, so number one son is also a powerlifter, and
Hmm.
he lifts an APL. And he kind of introduced me to dubstep many years ago, and having been, an aerobics instructor for, I think I taught aerobics for about 16 years or so. So, aerobics instructors, we use lots of techno dance type
Yeah.
music,
Okay.
and that's where my love of it grew from, right? And so Hugh introduced me to the dubstep stuff, and I was just like gobsmacked the first time I heard a dubstep track. I was like, oh my god, it just really keyed in. I don't know what that tells you about me in neuro terms, Nathan, but yeah, really kind of hits the spot. So yeah, I love listening to anything electronic. There are lines to be met, though. I do like a quality techno headbanger. I don't like just the ordinary doof doof doof, very very predictable stuff. But yeah, that's what I listen to.
Oh wow. I find it fascinating what people listen to during workouts. I just like anybody that wears headphones in the gym. I want to walk around and just pull them off
Lift
and
off.
just go. Oh,
What
what
do
are you
you?
listening? What do you got? What do you got in there? Uh,
It's like a competition when people are wearing headphones and the handler will take it off, and handler I've observed often that the handler will often have a quick listen, and it's so funny knowing what these fantastically strong, amazing people are listening to. These big strong dudes are listening to really light and fluffy pop songs. It's like, what the heck?
right. It's yeah. I remember Blaine Sumner used to like listening to Five Finger Death Punch. I remember the first time I heard it, I was just it's just all screaming and drums and hard driving guitars, and I said, "Oh, okay, so that's what people do to squat 400 kilos. I guess that's what you do." Um, and then
I
I
can
saw
get
for
that. I
ages
get that.
there was all this angry music, and I just never could quite get there. Um,
Yeah, I really I can understand it. I can understand why they might need to listen to that kind of stuff, but it's the same kind of rev up, really. I guess it's the anger part that I'm not. I
mm.
don't. I've never been able to lift angry. I don't know how many times in my past people have said, "Get angry." I'm like,
Oh no, don't get
I
angry.
can't.
Don't
I'm
get
not
angry.
angry. I can't get
Oh,
angry.
it's. I think I've mentioned this to you at Mega Nationals. I know I mentioned it to someone. I find it's always like 83-kilo men and below when they start uh doing all their psych up and their pseudo rage and get angry and slap each other on the back. It reminds me of 10-year-olds playing wrestling in the backyard. It looks like a pantomime to me. It just they're playing rock and wrestling, I'm going to be Hulk Hogan this time. You can be Andre the Giant and I'll hit you. And it's like, it's
I wonder how many people listening to the podcast might understand those references, Nathan. I
all
mean,
right. Let's go. Okay. So I'll be Roman Reigns. You be Sami
yeah.
Zayn. All right. Let's do this. Yeah. I haven't stopped watching. I'll tell you the current superstars as well.
All
Um,
right. Okay. Okay.
yeah.
I
Yeah.
remember.
I love
Sorry.
wrestling. I absolutely love it. Can't get enough of it. I think it's brilliant.
Wow. I
Mm,
remember watching it when I was quite young. Sub 10. But interestingly, my both my grandkids are into jiu-jitsu and Muay Thai, and Josie, the 7.5, nearly 8-year-old, going on 15, she she is an intense jiu-jitsu. She gets into it.
oh wow.
And so there's all that grappling kind of stuff.
Mm,
And the first time I actually watched them train, I was taken back to those days of WWF. Yeah.
yeah. It's a really intense hug. Is Brazilian Jiu Jitsu. It's just friends that are trying to hug each other really aggressively and intensely. Um,
Yeah. She's often the only girl in a
oh,
class
good
of
on her.
boys,
Good on
and
her. Well done.
oh yeah, she's a warrior, a real warrior, which is why I think she really likes that song, White Flag, that I
Hmm.
tried to sing earlier. Yeah, she gets it. She gets it. She's
Yeah,
a
if I,
she's going to be a strong, independent.
I like it.
woman, I think.
And just
Yeah.
and if a guy puts his hand on the wrong way, they're going to get armbarred or Kimura'd or something. Nothing like just this hand goes on the shoulder. Nah, we're bang, you're done. Turn it into
Yeah.
it's amazing how quickly you can turn anything into a rear naked choke. And I
I
think
don't.
I
I
think
don't
all
think Hugh's going to have any trouble with the boyfriends, right? I
there we go.
distinctly remember my father vetting my boyfriends at the door and drawing his full, 6'2" frame up. My dad's an ex military officer, an army officer. He, to the rank of lieutenant colonel, served in very auspicious
Oh,
places
okay.
and auspicious roles, and so he
Yeah,
would
right.
he would draw himself up with the shoulders back and down and you must get my daughter home by 10 p.m. or there will
I
be
think.
trouble.
Don't you think there's a voice that people of a certain rank, when they get to a certain rank, there's just this timbre in the voice that I still sit up a little bit straighter when I hear it. I go, okay, sure, whatever, sure, done. Um, I
Sir.
yeah, like was it over 10 years ago? I was involved in this neuroathletic program out of Phoenix, Arizona, and it was this master trainer course. And one of the people that was always on the calls was a beautiful man named Pat Marquez, retired Army ex Special Forces guy. He was a ranger for about 15 years. And every time I hadn't
Wow.
met Pat, but
Wow.
every time he spoke or gave an opinion on, say, an ankle drill for an injured athlete, he would just give his opinion. And I found myself at 2 a.m., I'd be on the call, I'd just go like this, just sit up straight, and then had this overwhelming urge to always say, yes, sir, yes, sir. Just it's something about, and yeah, his presence and the way he speaks just commands attention. And I was I was almost disappointed when I met him and found out that he was 5'6" and weighed 85 kilos. I was like, dude, you're not
God,
living up to your voice at all.
even more impressive,
Yeah.
I think. Even more impressive. The physical presence is not necessarily there, but their bearing and the
Oh
way
yeah.
they speak.
But even the way he held himself as such a, like, he was a small guy, but just the way he held himself, he took up a lot of area. He just took up space really well. Um,
Yeah, there's people like that, aren't there?
mm,
That you meet, and you just find yourself listening to every word, basically,
mm.
don't you? It's um, yeah. It's not. I mean, it's not small man syndrome either. I've met some men in my past who
Ah, yeah,
who haven't been physically imposing, but they've tried to. What's the word? They've tried to act and present themselves in such a way as to try to make themselves
yeah,
look big and be
yep.
superior, and it's just
Yeah,
yeah.
it's really sticks out, doesn't it? It's inauthentic.
Yes,
Like they know that they're not
that's the word.
big and they're trying to be big. It doesn't work.
Mm, mm,
But then you get,
it's like
yeah, then you
sorry.
get those I think the truly strong smaller people that, like, they walk in and I think who's a good example of this in world powerlifting would be Susie Hartwig Gary. Um, Obviously, lighter weight class. I think 52 kilo weight class for most of the time,
She's
and
tiny,
she's like,
tiny.
literally, like,
Yeah,
you can pick her up, put her in your pocket,
yeah,
carry her around. But um, Susie has incredible presence. Um,
yeah.
Incredible presence.
Yeah, it's the commanding presence, isn't it? It's a quiet,
Mm,
commanding presence. Yeah, they don't need to be loud. They don't need to be, all in your
right.
face. They don't need to be acting all aggressive or whatever. It's just a quiet authority, isn't it?
Yeah, I like that quiet authority, and definitely Susie has a lot of authority when it comes to lifting barbells and um,
Yeah, yeah. I was thrilled to meet she and Gary in Sun City last year.
oh, you met them
Yeah,
in South Africa,
yeah, I did. Yeah.
and so Matt is working for Great Britain now. Is that right? He's coaching there, or
I believe so. Yes. Yeah. I don't know the full story. Susie didn't really want to go into it. but she did allude to it, and that it was a painful piece of experience for them
Mm-hmm.
both. But I'm very pleased that the GBR team picked him up, and
Yeah.
because USA's loss is GBR's gain.
Yeah,
He's
that's
an awesome game day coach.
yeah.
That guy.
He's he has been at times a fairly polarizing figure, Matt Gary, but I love him. I think he's brilliant. Always got on great with him. Have huge amounts of respect for him, and I think there's about 3 or 4 people that have been on this podcast that just speak so highly of him as well. That even when he does stuff that it's quite easy to disagree at times with his method or his methodology, but his integrity as a human and his commitment to people is unquestioned. And I think that overrides absolutely everything he ever does. Is that he's just so committed to helping individuals, and that on its own is beautiful.
Yeah, indeed, what a legacy. And if we were going to just attach that descriptor to him, the quiet authority, that's definitely him.
Mm, yeah, I met him
Just going
in
to adjust this laptop for a sec. Hang on, sorry. Gotcha.
yeah we met in Auckland, New Zealand. Mike was out as an invited lifter at the Commonwealth. I was over there to I was doing 4 comps in a week, just cause why not? Um,
You
it's
competed 4 times in a
yeah.
week.
Well, I only ended up competing 3 times. I had to miss the final session where I was doing the 3 lift raw. I'd already won the bench only equipped 3 lift raw bench only. I think I came second in that one, and then I was going to do on the final day was the raw 3 lift. And that was going to be
Of course, yeah.
it was going to be like a big special session, and it was like myself, Mike Teixeira, Stephen Pritchard was there, and a few other big names from that time. I think Kimberly Walford had come down for it as well on the female side. My dad he'd had cancer for about 7 years by that stage, and I always went on trips anyway. Like if he was in hospital or out of hospital, it was one of those ones. But I'm not going to put too much on hold until I know things are really serious. And so I got a phone call that weekend. Hey, Dad's taken a sudden turn for the worst. You should get home as quick as you can. So I left before the final day. Got the first ever Auckland to Perth direct flight on Qantas. So it's worked out well. And I got home and it had just over 24 hours with my dad before he passed. But the
Oh,
part that
man.
that
Wow.
Matt Gary plays in that story is that I went over to say goodbye to Mike, who I knew very well at that point. I said, "Hey, Mike, this is what happened. I got to go. I'm off to the airport now." And Matt said, he goes, "Oh man, that's terrible news. We'll be praying for you." And so I was, people say, "Oh, we're praying for you." And like, "Oh, okay, that's nice. Whatever. Um, appreciate the sentiment." I walked away. I went over and I was talking to some New Zealand friends saying goodbye. And Matt walked across the room and he said, "Hey, listen, what's your dad's name? I'd like to pray for him by name." I'm like, so when you say you're going to pray for someone, you really mean it. And that, that was my first real interaction with Matt Gary. And that just, I think that's everything. He didn't know me. He didn't have to do that. But to go, yeah, I want to pray for your dad by name.
Oh, that would
Um,
have broken me. Oh God, I'm
oh,
tearing up
yeah.
already.
Yeah.
Oh,
Just,
that would have just broken me. Oh God.
yeah, absolutely incredible sort of compassion and empathy at the right time as well. Like it's really easy to be compassionate and say nice things after the fact or when it's low stress, but that was just the most beautiful thing somebody could have said at that point in time.
I mean, even if you're not religious, or you're an atheist, in fact, to know that somebody cares enough to want to know the name of
Yeah,
Father and to hold them in their thoughts for you, it's just, oh gosh, that
yeah.
just blows me away. That story. Oh God.
So that's Matt Gary for you. That is Matt Gary. So whatever anybody says about Matt Gary, the times that he's annoyed people or he's been a little bit overly dogmatic. I remember that. I've gone, I'm going to forgive him for it. I'm going to give him a pass
Mm,
because
mm, mm,
those core human interactions, I think that's what really matters. That's the important bits.
100%. Yeah, yeah, 100%.
All right, so
Okay.
that was a really long introduction and preamble.
Oh, you have got the record button on. I was going to say, when do we start recording?
So I always like it best when I forget the record button is going and just sort of pick up what conversations we have when we're unaware that people are listening. Because I always think they're the best thing. For me, it's the best thing about going to powerlifting meets is that over the last 20 years, I get to spend these little snippets of time with really super interesting people, but I don't know them very well. And every time I see them, I get to know them a little bit better. And like for example, after 15 years, I found out that a guy that I would consider a very close friend. We both played baseball growing up, and we both loved baseball. Never knew that before about him. Just those little things because time pressure is short. We talk a little bit too much about bench pressing when we get together, and we forget about the things that really matter, which is what are you actually into? What do you like to when
I
you
don't
cook a
know.
barbecue, what do you put on your barbecue? Stuff like that.
I think bench pressing is pretty important, but yes,
Bench pressing is so
anything to
important,
do with food is also good.
right? I was yeah, that
Yeah.
perfect trick.
So
Do you lift weights? Do you drink? And do you really like eating food? And I'm going, yep, all three. All right, let's be friends. We got something to work on now.
that's where I really love Instagram because I have a lot of interaction in text
Yep.
with people from all over the planet, and I just love it. It does help me stay connected to the worldwide community. But there are some things that you can say to one person that you just don't say to a lot of people. And my Instagram is my training diary. I'm
Yep.
not there to be inspirational. I'm not there to have a message every
Right.
time I post a training video. It's like, here's me, 4 sets of 5, blah blah blah.
I did a thing tonight. I did a bench press. Here's all of them. All right.
And here's either the progress or the good news, or here we are, we're just static, or I'm just holding, or whatever. But then somebody will DM me, and it'll start a conversation. Often that goes sometimes goes on for a long time, like I'm talking hours.
Yep.
And I really love that kind of level of interaction.
Yeah, me too. Me too. Because, like, for me, living and working in Karratha for so long, there were no powerlifters around. There was no community. Like the closest powerlifter was 1,600 kilometers away. So it was a 16-hour drive or a 2-hour flight. So going to nationals and going to all these internationals that I did, that was my connection. And so, like you, social media became really important to be able to stay in contact and build these relationships over time. To the point where I think my favorite relationships is where I can't remember which meet I met somebody at, because they just go, oh man, you've just kind of been in a lot of my memories now, and I don't know when you weren't there. I think we talked about that at Meganats because I said, oh, I'm having dinner with such and such, and you had no idea who that was. You're one of these people in my life now that I've just got used to you being there. And he'd go, I don't actually know when you started or how long you've been there. You're in a lot of my memories.
As are you, yeah. And we talked about that situation where you were reffing at the PA Nats one year, and you were your shoes bore the
Oh
brunt
yeah,
of somebody.
yeah. I think
Somebody's projectile vomit as they're coming up from a squat,
it
and
was a
I
beautiful
will
vomit. It
never
really
forget that
was.
because you moved so fast out of
Oh
that
yeah.
chair. I've never seen a man, of your size as you were then, move so fast.
I didn't think people half my size can move that quickly or gracefully, to be honest. Yeah.
I was actually sitting behind you and to the right, so I was very close to the action. And yeah, always impressed me. I will never forget that moment.
It comes up so often. It seems to be a
I
touch
bet
point
it
for
does.
it's a touch point for a certain generation of lifter. They go, "Do you remember when?" I'm like, "Oh, yeah, okay. So you're that generation of lifter. All right, fine, we know it." Yeah, because there was no footage of it, it wasn't recorded. The best way I can describe it is when you go back, like you watch the original Star Wars trilogy, and Yoda moves really slow. That's me most of the time. I like to move slow. I deliberately move slow. There's no, you can't really see what's there. But then in the first three movies, you see Yoda flipping around in lightsaber fights and going really fast. Just go, yeah, that's me.
Vroom,
That's how I
vroom,
moved.
vroom.
This guy projectile vomited, and I did a triple backflip with a pirouette and a twist, and I landed on my feet like a ninja, and I was ready to go, and I gave um, I can't remember if we red lighted him or not. I can't remember if he finished the lift.
I thought he did actually.
I think I may have given him a rat call.
Um, yeah. Look, to be honest, I don't actually recall that fully, but I seem to think that he did. We could always look it up on Open
Let's
Powerlifting, couldn't we?
let's just say that he made the let's just say that he made the lift. That I did a triple backflip, pirouetted, turned around, and saw him stand fully upright and said rack. There we go.
Exactly.
That's way better. That's a much better story. He got the lift. He puked and got the lift. Well done.
Maybe you pressed the white button by mistake in total shock.
Yeah, maybe.
Or maybe the white light button was for yourself, as a quiet little
Yeah, I did it. Look at
to
that.
look. Hey, look what I just achieved.
Yeah, it
It's
was
like a
pretty.
gymnastics
It was
score,
very
this for a
spectacular.
diving score.
Oh yeah,
Tens.
oh yeah. Degree of difficulty right up there.
White
Massive
light.
points. Um, wow. Yeah, he's a character. I know he used to cut weight and rehydrate really, like rapid rehydration, which was always the problem with the vomiting. And I could see it coming from a long way out because he
Oh.
gave a couple of little let's call them quivers or little spasms on his first attempt. And you're like, ooh, ooh. And I knew he had a history of spewing, so I was ready to move. And then on that second one, you can literally see his abs either side of his belt start just you're like, oh, it's coming. Get out, evacuate. So by the time the first little bit came out of his mouth, I was moving already.
Yeah. Forewarned is forearmed.
Mm-hmm. There was another. I saw
Oh
the
God,
same
that's
thing
funny.
happen at my first ever Commonwealth in 2007. I was a Welsh lifter who was pretty famous for puking at that point of his life because he was in the 90 kilo class. Like I said, it was a long time ago. It was the old weight classes. And he used to drink way too much between bench and deadlift and projectile vomit almost every competition. But he would vomit and he would lock out and then get a down
Wow.
call and put the bar down gently and wander off.
I've seen videos like that. I've seen videos exactly like that. Which is why I'm kind of thinking that you did give that guy, or you might have given him the white light. But anyway,
Mm.
yeah, I have seen that. It's extraordinary, isn't it?
It's
And
quite a talent.
it is a talent to completely switch off from what's happening there.
Right?
A bit like Sean Minto at Worlds last year, in fact, in South Africa, where he locked out a world record deadlift at Masters, and he locked it out even though his bicep was tearing.
Oh,
Just
geez.
rolling his arm.
Oh, bicep tears are horrible. They're just horrible. They look so bad.
He is fully rehabbed now, and he's going great guns.
Oh, good
Yeah,
on him.
good on you, Sean.
Stephen Pritchard tore a bicep 1 year in
Yes.
Melbourne and came back way better and stronger because of it.
Yeah.
It's actually how the few of us that got right into Shaco programming, we found Shaco through Stephen getting a bicep injury. That's how it all
Really?
got started. Yeah, and he tore his bicep on his third attempt deadlift, and I was the lifter going out after him.
Wow.
And just
Wow.
watch it, just literally watch his bicep roll up,
Rolling up.
and he's like,
Yeah.
"Ooh, oh, that's not good." Yeah, I
That
think he's
happened
gonna.
to.
I don't think he's gonna win today.
Did you beat him? Well, you came after him? So did you outlift him?
Yeah, I think we're in different weight classes in those days anyway. So
Oh,
I always lifted after him and lifted more, but we were always pretty close on formula. So, but then again, in those days, neither of us ever looked at the formula until after the competition because I don't know, we had issues with people, still have issues with people banging on about formula. It's like formulas for babies,
dots. Yeah,
dots these
dots is
days.
the
Yeah.
dots is the latest thing. Although the arguments against dots, if you're comparing men against women with the
Which
dots,
I don't think you can
it's
compare
not
genders
fair.
on dots. Yeah,
It's not compatible. No, no.
yeah. I saw a really good piece on that one. Yeah, um,
Yeah, I did too. I can't remember the woman's name. I think she's American. I wish I could.
yeah, yeah.
I
It
kind of
was.
came across the post by accident. And I thought, oh, I must bookmark this, and then I
Mm,
forgot.
yeah, it's the maths works out. She's like, oh, it's a really good analysis. But yeah, I don't think there's a way that we can get around it. The sport needs a formula of some kind, and we take whatever formula we can get. I think as long as it's not
Except for the Wilkes formula.
the Voldemort formula. We're not allowed to mention his name.
Oh, sorry, sorry.
The who? Never. Cody Wilkes. Oh, Cody Wilkes, the athlete from Perth that did really well at nationals this year. Yeah, that's the one. That's who we're
Oh
talking
yeah,
about.
that one. That
No one
one.
else. Oh, should we do some of these questions? What do you think?
Oh yeah, sure.
Why
Why not?
not? Why not? Let's see
I,
where we go with
I
them.
had a look at the first couple, and then I got bored.
They're pretty softball. They're pretty easy lobs.
I don't know. When you're on the spot, it's like when you're watching a quiz show on TV and you go, the answer, the answer, the answer, the answer, and then if you're sort of in the hot
Right.
seat, you're behind the cameras on set and whatever. It's like, I don't know, I
Yeah.
don't know.
Words. B. I don't. Yeah. I grew up watching Sale of the Century. I always thought I'd be
Oh,
wrong
me
on Sale of the
too.
Century.
I
but
still
it
love
would
it.
probably a lot of that. Like at home, she go, yeah, I've got the fast money. I'm the best at this. But then the big studio lights and depending on
Yeah.
how old you are, you go whether you say Tony Ridge or Glenn Ridge or Tony Barber.
Tony Barber, definitely.
Oh yeah. See, you're a little bit
Yeah.
older than me. I still think I get Glenn Ridge. I got the new and improved young guy.
No, I never liked him. I never liked him.
I just remember Tony Barber and whistling. He had a cigarette commercial where he
Yeah.
whistled all the way through it.
Yeah,
Yeah, that's the one. Yeah, do you remember
That's
the
how
brand?
old I am.
I remember it was black and white.
Yeah, and he's smoking a cigarette, whistling along, and not a care in the world. Yeah.
Because that's definitely things that you can do when you're a smoker is to whistle confidently.
Well, I guess your mouth is already
It's just
primed and ready. Primed and ready.
it's permanent. It's just you listen to the whistle over you, get slowly croakier and crackly and
Yeah, thank God the smoking rates have fallen dramatically in Australia, but
right.
yeah, I work on a TAFE campus. Work for TAFE Queensland, and I'm in a donga next to the stonemasonry workshop area, which is pretty schmick, outside inside type, and the bloody stonemasons are terrible for smoking. And so students will come out on their break and stand in the alleyway between my donga and the workshop area and smoke, and I'll be like, in my office like a bloodhound. Somebody's smoking.
I got it.
Race outside. Go.
Find
This
them.
is our
Where's the culprit?
smoke-free campus.
Man, that's still the big thing in Europe that I can't get over. You know, sat down in a cafe first night in Norway, and there's people smoking in the cafe.
Ew.
It's so bizarre. Just so
Well,
bizarre.
I used to be a smoker. I was quite a heavy smoker. My first I trained as a nurse and finished my training and became a registered nurse and worked for a year in paediatrics at Royal Shore Hospital and before I left the service. And then I went into the advertising world and worked in advertising or production accounts. And we all smoked at our desk.
Yeah,
And
right.
whenever the phone rang, you'd immediately, it was a cue, like Pavlov's dog, to light up a cigarette and smoke. And I look back at those days and I'm like, oh, I'm puking. Ugh.
I wonder what that building would have smelt like. Just like after a week
horrible.
of people smoking a pack a day in there. Wow.
Oh, when I was nursing too, on breaks on the wards, we would all, doctors and nurses, we all smoked, and we would go into that break room and smoke as many cigarettes as we could, and then go back and lean all over the patients with our nicotine. Oh, it would have been
right.
awful.
There's you know, in Dubai Airport, they have a vape room and a smoking room inside the airport.
Wow.
With all of these,
special.
Like they open the doors and the smoke doesn't come out. Like you got vacuums or whatever to extractors, but the smoke still kind of builds up in the room. So you walk past it and there's just all these people just puffing away. And because it's like, I don't think most of the people in there, they're travelers. They're all waiting for their flight, so they don't know each other. So no one's making conversation. It's just that weird thing smokers do where they just kind of just angle themselves and look slightly past someone and go, and just ever so slightly make eye contact, but not quite with someone else to go, yeah, I'm here. And if you get in the way of this cigarette, we're going to have an issue. So let me smoke this in peace. Give it to me. Because I'm about to be on a flight for 10 hours and I can't smoke. So just let me have it now.
As I can. Oh, God. Yeah. I've walked past smoking rooms too at airports. The last one I can remember was Singapore, where there was a specific smoking room. But what's funny about when you're watching people in a group who are all smoking is that they'll all kind of direct their smoke that way.
It's just slightly
that way,
away.
But they're in a smoke-filled room. It doesn't really matter if you're blowing your smoke away from their face.
You still got to maintain the smoking etiquette of just out the corner of the. Yeah, I'm not really blowing smoke if I blow it out the corner of my mouth. I didn't smoke. It's odd, isn't it?
Let alone blowing smoke up your ass.
I found Frankfurt Airport, the smoking booth at Frankfurt, you could only get like maybe 1 to 3 people in there. So it's much
like
more
a telephone box.
Like a telephone box, yeah. Yeah, in one of the terminals, it was like you'd walk past and it would be like one person per box in there. Like you could fit multiple people in there, but one person per box seemed to be the way they did it. And they're just standing in there with it's glass all around them. All 4 walls are perspex, so you can see everything going on. It's just one person in the middle of this sterile cubicle just going.
It's like
and they all
Superman
do that slightly.
trying to blow up the camouflage.
Right? It's like, if I can just smoke quicker, people won't see me. I can cover myself in a cloud. They never quite get there because the extractors are just pulling enough smoke out that they're revealed at all times.
Crazy.
It's like the German government going, see, this is what happens. This is what happens when you smoke. And that's all they do for anti-smoking. But Europeans and smoking still gets to me because I think in Australia we've done a wonderful job of bullying people away from smoking. Like that social pressure when, have you noticed it now when people light up, everyone just snaps their head around and just goes,
Ew.
oh.
So it's yes.
Yeah. But then, sitting in these cafes in Oslo, look about a third of the cafe would be smoking. It's just odd.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
Ugh. I would have to go outside. I couldn't stay inside even if it was, -5 and snowing outside. I can't handle it.
This was in the al fresco, the outdoor seating. They just
Right. Oh right, yeah.
So
yeah.
open air. So they go, oh, it's open air, so it's fine. I'll be going, it's not. It's I don't like tobacco on burger. I just want burger.
Smoking on plain.
Yeah.
It's no, I couldn't handle it. I mean, they say there's nothing worse than a reformed smoker, and I think I tend to agree. I'm really anti.
So how long has it been since your last cigarette?
Oh, well, I can remember smoking in my early 40s, so that's over 20 years now.
Right. I got up to about a packet a day. I was smoking by the end. And yeah, once again, about 20 years ago. And I was really fortunate that I literally tossed half a packet of cigarettes in the bin and said, that's it, I'm done. And then I had, and I discovered this much later on down the track because I was one of those annoying people who would go, just quit. They go, well, what did you do? I go, well, I threw my smokes in the bin. I walked away. They go,
you just quit.
And then what happened? I go, well, I just quit. I decided, I made up my mind. They go, was it hard? And I go, I don't know, but I just did it. I wasn't really interested in anything else. I was motivated, so I did it. It falls pretty evenly into thirds, I've found out. There's a third of people who smoke for whom quitting is really, really easy. That happened to be me. So you should never take advice on quitting smoking from people that fall into this group because it was just, I gave up, walked away, all good, no problem. There's a third that it's tricky, but you can do it. And it just takes a little bit of planning and a bit of willpower and maybe some nicotine gum. And then there's a third of smokers for whom quitting smoking is incredibly painful. You get physical withdrawals, you get all the mental withdrawal, all of the bad stuff happens to this 1/3, and they're quite resistant to quitting smoking. So since finding that out and finding out which group I fit in, I have a lot of compassion for those people that are stuck on the darts, because I also found out how much they pay for it these days, and I'm like, well,
They
cocaine
cost a lot of money, don't they?
I'm pretty sure illegal drugs are much cheaper than cigarettes. What are you doing?
I gave up over a period of about literally over a period of about 10 years. So I just stopped. I would just stop, and then literally years later I'd pick it up, and it was usually in a social situation where everybody else was smoking around me, and in those days I used to drink. I have the occasional bevy, but these days probably class myself as almost a teetotaler, if there's such a thing. And social gatherings would just pick it up, and when I picked it up, I would easily get through, not kidding, a pack in a night.
Wow.
Easily. And wake up the next day and go, oh my God. And then give up. Then give up for a number of years and then pick it up again. But yeah, thank God those days are gone.
I found that as long as I stayed under 5 drinks, I had no desire to smoke. But as soon as I got towards the end of my 5th drink, I would look at my friend Emma, who smoked the exact same brand that I used to smoke, and I'd look at her and just go, hey, how about I light the next one for you? And she'd just shake her head at me. She'd just shake her head and she goes, 6th drink, isn't it? I'm going, yeah. She goes, remember you hate this? I go, I know. I'm not going to like it, am I? She goes, no, you're not. And every time I'd light the cigarette for her, and I'm like, yeah, no, that's disgusting. Take that away from me. But yeah, it was
what did you start smoking on? I started smoking on menthol cigarettes when I was a nurse. What did you start smoking on?
I would steal my dad's cigarettes, so whatever he was smoking at the time, that would be it. But Dad was also hiding his smoking habit from my mum, as he said.
Hiding?
Yeah, hiding. So, so I think there was this kind of truce. Um, so what was the first one? I think it was Peter Stuyvesant's. I was smoking.
Oh, gold.
Uh, just take whatever was there. And then Benson and Hedges. I remember that.
Oh, yeah.
B&H Gold.
B&H. B&H Mild was mine. Yeah.
And then I
B&H
got
Mild.
Marlboro Red after
Oh,
that.
good. Too strong.
Yeah. It's, yeah, I don't know what I was thinking. But yeah, so I used to. So my dad would be telling everyone, yeah, I quit smoking 10 years ago. I don't smoke. And I'm going, yeah, he smokes a lot. Um, but he would hide his cigarettes in the garage when he got home from night, and then my brother would steal the cigarettes off my dad. But then I knew when my elder brother would hide the cigarettes he stole off my dad. So I'd just steal it from him, so no one could complain about anything, and I'd just go. So I had free smokes, and
Sneaky.
I had the
Very
best hiding
sneaky.
spot that nobody knew about. Um, to the
Oh, yeah?
yeah, it was. I had this really nice clock, a wall clock, and I don't think anybody realized how hollow the clock was. So everything went in there. All my
So,
cigarettes, spare
so
money.
literally when it was time for a
Yeah,
cigarette,
yeah,
clock off the wall.
yeah. There was a few other things that got stored in that clock as well, but it was all there. If
The odd, the odd, the odd rolly joint,
yeah,
the old
yeah.
split.
Whatever high school students were into in the 90s, that was you would find that in the back of my clock. So
How
I
many
just
siblings have you got, Nathan?
I got an older brother and a younger sister. So elder by 2 years, younger by 4.
Nice. Do you all still kind of socialise and?
Unfortunately, not. My brother hasn't spoken to me in. I think the last time we spoke was at my dad's funeral, and he hadn't been speaking to us for about 10 years before that.
Oh,
Unfortunately, and then yeah, my sister is same deal. Hasn't spoken to us for a few years now.
oh dear.
Yeah, families can be like that. Unfortunately.
Oh yeah. Yep. Yep. My experience as well. Which I probably won't go into today.
Yeah. Um,
Anyhow, what about them questions?
them questions. Let's ditch the questions. This is just a fun conversation. I think really we don't need them. We'll get you back another time and do the 36 questions because they
Oh
are kind
damn!
of
I was
fun.
what I was really hoping you would ask me
Oh,
who I would have to
the
dinner.
the dinner guest.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
All right then. Who would you invite to dinner tonight if you could invite anybody?
Well, my first response in my head was, well, as long as if I didn't have to cook,
We've got to get the practicalities out, right? Like,
I would invite anybody because apart from the 2 family nights that I have with my little family, I eat alone, so I'd
oh,
be happy
really?
to have anybody. But if I could only choose one person on the planet, it would be Richard Attenborough,
Oh, wow.
the
Yeah.
the world famous naturalist. Yeah.
When I was teaching science, Richard Attenborough, I think, is the greatest gift to a science teacher has. Is when everything is failing and when everything is going wrong. And what did I have? I had year sevens, Friday period 5. I'm just going. I'm not even going to bother trying to teach to a bunch of 12 and 13-year-olds on the last
Yoink.
hour of the week. That's just dumb. Why did they program science here? They should be playing sport or just running into things. So we did a lot of that, but we watched a lot of Richard Attenborough with that class. Um, and everything he's produced, I love. Just brilliant.
Me too. I think he'd be a fascinating dinner guest. He would just, I would probably be sitting there like this,
Right?
listening with that same expression on my face, listening to every word because, mate, he would have, because he's well into his 90s now, isn't he? He would have such a wealth of stories.
Oh yeah, and
Um,
he's been doing it what since his early 20s.
yeah, yeah. When you see
Mm.
the videos of when he was a young man and now, it's crazy. But what is really astounding is that he hasn't lost his enthusiasm and love for anything nature, if you
Mm.
like. That is, and he just brings over that enthusiasm with that very characteristic um, vocal um, mannerism that he has, and yeah, he
He's
would
quite
be.
soothing. He's quite soothing to listen to as well, isn't he?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. But it's like, is anybody ever going to listen? I mean, the man's leaving a legacy
Mm.
in messaging about one word, environmentalism, I guess.
Yeah,
But is anybody ever really listening? We're all
I'd like to.
amazed at
I'd
the
like to
at
hope
the
so.
animals and nature and what has evolved on the planet, and what we are doing our best as a human race to destroy. It's
Yeah,
like I wonder if one question I would ask him, I guess, is, does he ever feel dejected and depressed about the future of the planet?
Hmm. Yeah, I'd love to hear his reply to that. Reminds me though, I was taking a first year biology, just general biology, and the professor was a man named Jan Hemme. He does research into fiddler crabs, which I find fascinating. Um,
Wow.
and yeah, the especially he's made a few devices where he's looking at they're basically investigating what does a fiddler crab really see and how do they see it, because crabs see, like, so they've got four options, we have three, so we only see in three colors, they see in four, they see a lot more of the spectrum than we do. So it turns out they see things in they see gravity, they can perceive gravitational lines and electromagnetic frequency, so they can
Holy
kind of,
moly.
and you're
How
like,
crazy.
wow, this is cool. Like, and it's
Yeah.
so, because we don't have that sense, um, we try and imagine it using one of our senses, which we obviously can't do. So the world of a crab is very different to the world of a human just by what they can detect. But anyway, that had nothing to do with the story I was going to tell. Jan was asked an environmentalist story. Jan, what do you think is going to happen when we finally screw up the planet? And he said, I have no fears for the planet at all. The planet will self correct. I have a lot of fears for us. And I said, can you explain a little bit more? And he said, oh yeah, easy. Like, the planet knows how to regenerate. The planet will adapt. Will do something. Um, it's humans that are that we're creating or broadening niches that we can't live in. And so we can't adapt as quick as what the planet will adapt to us. Obviously, we can do a lot of bad things, and if we really mess it up badly enough, we're affected more than most, and we ended up destroying it for ourselves. But as soon as we're destroyed, planet resets, goes back to being the planet, and life carries on. So I think it's almost arrogant to believe that as humans, as one species, we can stop everything. Um, we can certainly damage it a lot, and we'll stop our species, if anything. Um, well, add to the ones that we've already managed to wipe out along the way. But where
Yeah.
the greatest danger is the threat we make to us, not to the planet.
Oh, 100% true. Look at look at that orange orangutan who's now leader of his country.
Yeah, he's an odd one, isn't
Odd.
he?
How diplomatic of you.
How do, wow, that's generous. Odd, yeah. Yeah,
Yes, and and
I'm
there's
kind of
always
a I'm one of these guys that with that whole situation is going, you know what? We got another 3 years. Let's just get through it. Um, he can't kill everything in 3 years. Surely there's enough stable people adjacent to him that will stop anything from from, but we keep on saying this, so who knows? Who knows what he can do over the next couple of years?
It's only been 6 months.
6 months.
The sensible, the remaining sensible people over there are saying it's going to take decades to recover from him. Yeah.
Yeah.
Anyway, I don't really want to talk about that person.
Yeah, let's switch.
Suffice to say, though, that I know the Masters Championships are on. I think it's Reno or Las Vegas or something next year.
Yeah, Reno, Nevada next year.
And I ain't going. There's no way I'm going to travel to that country. No way. Not when he's in power. I would if I did go, I would have to completely wipe this. Completely.
Yep.
I'd have to take a burner phone or something,
I would just not take one into the country at all.
Yeah. And no thanks. No, it's not a country I have ever wanted to visit, except I have to say that I did really, really enjoy New York. That was in October-ish of 2019, just before what hit us.
Yep.
Yeah, and it was that city had a vibe. Just did lots of walking and just soaking up the whole thing. Saw lots of touristy sites and whatever. Went to the World Tower Memorial, etc., which was extremely moving. I'm not interested in that country in terms of tourism.
Yeah, okay.
Lots of other places I'd prefer to go.
I'd love to hit Reno, and there's a couple of drives that I'd want to do out of there to get back to a major airport. Either heading west. If you head west from there, you're going to go through some of the most beautiful national parks on the planet, or if you go south as well, you can sort of head down through. Is it north from there, like Monument Valley and places like that, which I'd love to see. But I'm kind of with you at the moment. Like I just don't with some of the stories coming out about formerly friendly nations not being treated friendly anymore. I'm like, I'm not. I like traveling as an Australian because of how easy it is to get in and out of places without being held back or questioned or interrogated. And now there's a lot of interrogation and holding people back, and there's questions about getting in and out. So I'm like, I don't need that. That's why I don't go to China either. When I've had the opportunity, I just go, let's just make it easy countries.
See, I'd prefer to go to China than the States.
I would prefer to go back to Norway or Sweden. I just hang out in Scandinavia as much as I can.
I was very jealous of you all going there, I have to say. I loved the videos that were coming back from Sarah Wheel and Steve Varady and Steph Bissett. It's like, wow, crazy. Love to do that. FOMO severely. Oh, of course, talking about FOMO. Why did I say no? The folk are going to Japan shortly to compete.
Oh, yeah, okay.
In about, 5 weeks or so. I said no. And you know what? I've always wanted to go to Japan. And I said no for two reasons. Number one, it would be if I went touring after the competition, then I'd be having to think about my lugging around my comp gear in my little cabin bag, or thinking about how I'm going to get rid of it, send it back in the mail or whatever. It was kind of like a hassle. It was a bit overwhelming to think of at the time with the logistics. And the second one was the fear of getting around as a sole woman traveling in Japan, not knowing any of the language, not being able to work out the rail systems. I was like, oh my God. It was just, at the time, I was going through a few things. It was just too overwhelming. And so I turned down the invitation to go. And now, of course, I'm like, I wish I was going.
Yeah, I felt this.
Are you going to ref? Are you going to rep in Japan?
No, no, not going to Japan at all. Wasn't really interested. Mostly because of the expense. Like, it's an expensive place to travel to, and I'd already dealt with my disappointment with not going to bench worlds when I was in Japan, because obviously by that stage I was pretty sick and I was no longer competing, and so we always thought bench worlds in Japan was going to be epic, and it was. You know, Japan is the country that I think invests the most time and effort into becoming great bench pressers, and they really see the value of it. And so I think a bench worlds there would have been amazing, but yeah, I didn't get to go.
Well, they do have some of the best bench presses on the planet.
We were yeah, we were I was with Kenneth Sandvik from Finland. This one, 8-time world champion, European Hall of Fame, IPF Hall of Fame, Finnish Hall of Fame, and I think his
Wow.
wife is in all 3 Hall of Fames now as well. Marcella, she's a great lifter. And so I was having pancakes and ice cream with him across the road from the hotel, and Robert Keller, the great Robert Keller, turned up and he joined us, and we were talking about old lifters, and it's still one of my favorite things to do is get the stories of these great lifters that I admire that I never got to see lift. And so Robert is a great one for being able to talk about, you know, these greats from the 80s and 90s that I wasn't around for, that I grew up reading about them in Powerlifting USA. And he said, his quote was, when God was making the design for a bench presser, he made Daiki Kadama and then just gone, you know what, I've done enough, that's it. I think Daiki's longevity and his
Oh yeah, he's amazing.
I don't know. I think he's like at 23 or 24 world titles now, like something
Crazy.
just nuts. And so he's still winning the 83 Opens as an M2.
Yep.
In both
Yep.
in both the shirt and raw. And every bench worlds I've been to, he does the same thing. He walks around all week with a massive smile on his face. You know, he loves being there. He loves being part of the action. And he'll just have this little group of about 6 or 7 other lifters with him. And, you know, some of those lifters will be the same people for a few years, but they eventually change because he stays good for so long that they get good and come and go. But he just lifts all week. He's always in the warm-up area. He's always lifting, and he's always teaching. And so I think he can he's going to be up there for at least another 4 or 5 years and either winning or being very, very competitive well into his mid-50s.
Yeah, he's crazy. I can't remember where I saw him, but I do remember seeing him at a major international, and I went double take. Oh my God, that's him!
Look at him! Look at
him! But too shy to go up and say good day.
Yeah, and he wouldn't know what you're saying anyway. His English is about as good as my Japanese. So,
that was another fear about going to Japan.
Is people being able to communicate?
Idea. Yeah.
Yeah, it's been funny trying to get information from lifters over the years, because for me, I was always there as the sole Australian, so I was very non-threatening, and other lifters were quite willing to share their national team strategies, and this is the way we do stuff in the US, or this is the way we do it in Finland or Sweden. And so I collected all of this information for years and years and years. It was great. You know, like I could go out to dinner with 6 or 7 guys and look around the table and go, oh, wow, there's only 2 of us that haven't won a world title. And everyone at the table at some point has loaded a world record on the bar and got close, at least got close. And so I just had this great, these training resources, really, which the only one we were missing was from the Japanese, because the guy that I was competing against, Daisuke Madote, we don't know if he spoke any English at all.
Yeah.
And we're pretty sure his English got worse when you asked him questions about training.
Right? Yeah. You ain't getting any of my secrets.
Yeah. So it wasn't until I met Ryuki Fujimoto, who I don't think he should have won the equipped 120 plus the other day in Norway, but I think he missed his final attempt. His final attempt was 392.5. Like, it's just, just incredible.
What?
Yeah, right. And so I was fortunate enough to meet him when he was a sub junior 105. I'm in Sweden, and most mornings he would come down and he would have breakfast with myself and Jonah Leo. I think he really wanted to be a super heavyweight. He talked about being a super one day, and we're like, man, when you're a super, I hope I'm not lifting because you're going to destroy everyone. And he has. The best bit about this kid was that he's actually from Hawaii. He's not born in Japan. He's Japanese, but he was born and raised in Hawaii, so speaks great English. And I think at that point in his life, his English was much better than his Japanese, so he preferred speaking in English. So when we would be in the training hall, I'm like, hey, dude, what are you doing now? Why is Daiki doing that? What are you talking about? And so he told us everything. It was awesome.
Oh, you had a spy.
Right? Just like any 15 or 16-year-old boy would when talking to older guys that he admires, didn't hold back. With just whatever question we want an answer to, go, hey, why does Daiki train this way? How many reps does he do? Why are you doing this today? What are you going to do tomorrow? And he literally just unpacked it all for us. It was brilliant. Absolutely brilliant.
Yeah, it would have been fantastic intel. But the funny thing about bench, I am not a bencher. It's everybody on the planet knows I am not a bencher. I still try hard, but anyway. But the funny thing is that everybody responds responds differently to those same programs. So you could replicate Daiko's training regime.
I don't think anybody can.
To the letter, and you would still not achieve the same results.
No. Yeah. Absolutely.
Well, his physique for one,
he's got that tiny waist. He's permanent. I've never known him not to have visible abs. Smokes like a chimney. And
really? I didn't know that.
I've got. I think the photo of me and him from the Czech Republic in 2012. He's got a cigarette in hand in the photo. I think maybe that's the secret. Just got to smoke more.
Yeah.
A lot of the Japanese team smoke, which I found bizarre. But in terms of Daiki's programming, I think if anybody tried to do Daiki's program, they would be injured. Dude trains 6-7 days a week, incredibly high volume, high intensity, high everything. But if you fit it to a strategy, Freddie Smolter from Finland, the first guy to bench 400 in competition, he said bench pressing is really simple. It is all speed and volume. And I agree with him. That's all I ever did. It's speed and volume for you. So as fast as you can, as often as you can, until it slows down. And for some people, obviously like Daiki, he can go move the bar fast at really heavy weights every day because he's conditioned himself to doing that. Other
100%.
people might use slightly lighter weights to move the bar fast, and they have to do it. They can only do it for 2 or 3 sets, and they're going to do that maybe 5 times a week or 3 times a week. But it's all in terms of programming. Everything to do with bench pressing is speed and volume.
Right. Well, I'll tell Kelly that's your recommendation.
That's the recommendation I think I've given for about 15, 16 years now. Doing that and Turkish get-ups for shoulder stability. And still to this day, like no one's taken me at my word. Well, actually, one person gone, all right, I'm going to give Turkish get-ups a go and really commit to learning them. Ironically, the only person that's tried it has succeeded with them, did really well out of them, had a big boost to his bench press, and that was Ben Wright. That was Ben Wright, who's in a wheelchair and lifts in Paralympic bench pressing. So the only person that's ever given it a go is in a wheelchair.
Benny, right. Friends with Hardy, right.
And it works with him. So
God, I
gave all the secrets away for free. I never charged anybody for telling them what I did. People just don't believe.
You didn't
that's
pretend
what I did.
that you didn't speak English.
Yeah. I go, oh no, this is exactly what I do. I'll write it up for you. I'll show you. This is how I do what I do. And people just
Well,
go,
it's
oh,
funny.
okay,
Funny you should
interesting. I'm
say.
not doing it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Funny you should say though, because Kelly's actually in my next block. She's bringing in a touch and go day, so that will be my speed day.
Yeah. I see how very little touch and go benching people do these days, except for the people that are winning.
Right, right. Oh well, I'll approach it with glee then.
Yeah, it's all
Hopefully, the
about.
next time we speak, I'll have at least an 80 kilo bench.
There we go. For me, it's always about that rapid reversal, like how quickly you can turn the bar around.
Yeah, yeah. Gosh, I would need to put 20 to 25 kilos on my bench press in order to win a world championship.
Yeah, righto.
That's how far behind I am with the top places. Yeah.
So, how much do you bench?
Well, at Meganuts, I bench 77.5, which is all-time PB, let alone comp platform PB. I've never benched 77.5 before in my life.
Well done. That looks
yeah, right.
That looks really. I'm just looking the way that also looks really nice loaded, because it's the red plate and collars and just that fractional on there.
100%. The first time I had red plates on a comp platform was actually in Sun City. I did 75 then for the first time. And after I finished the lift and got white lights, I bent over and kissed the plates. I was just so ecstatic.
Awesome. So you're telling me after 10 years of lifting, having started at 55, you're still making progress?
Oh, I thought you were going to say you're still only bench pressing 77.5 is your best. That's what I thought you were going to say.
No, I would never say that. That's not
true.
me.
That's true, Nathan. I am still progressing.
Still going up. Like I think that's really cool.
Yeah. Still, I think it's really cool as well. It's kind of slow and steady. After I had a mastectomy for breast cancer in just a single side, not both, in April of 2023. And in December of 2023, I competed at the Asia Pacific or the Asian Championships in Malaysia. And I actually got second best lifter in the Masters there. I set three world records at that meet. 3.
Oh wow.
Yeah. And that was only April, May, June, July, August, September, October, November, December. It's only 8 months after mastectomy.
My goodness, that's amazing.
Yeah,
and so
I'm freaking relentless. I am relentless.
You are. Absolutely. So you will
16 days after that mastectomy,
you will get that big bench press.
Hey?
You will get that big bench press one day, because you're relentless.
Only if it's on the V3 bench.
You might bench your age pretty in the 10 years time. You might be benching your age or more. There you go. Like stick around so long in the sport, it stops being about body weight coefficients. It becomes just about the age coefficient. I can squat 3 times my age and go, wow, that's a big number. Well done.
Wow. I tell you what, though, my aim, who knows if I'll reach it, but hey, I'm going to try my damnedest. My aim is to deadlift 200 and to be in my 60s. So I'm 66 this year, so I've got 4 years to go.
How close are you now?
Oh, at Nats, it was only 176.5, but that's all I needed to achieve my goal for that comp, which was a 400 total, which is the first time a 60-plus-year-old woman in any federation in Australia had ever achieved 400.
Wow.
So, yeah, that was the goal for that comp. And so Matty Bartholomew was handling me, and he would not let me put any more on that deadlift bar, even though, 180 was certainly there on the day, probably more, because that, it's nothing worse, is there, when you're doing a third attempt deadlift and it just comes off the floor so smooth and clean, and you just lock it out clean and you go, fuck!
Yeah, come on,
Why didn't I put more on that bar?
Yeah, this is new powerlifting culture, isn't it? This very conservative approach to most things and going 9 for 9, and I get it.
I get it too, but it's not necessarily me. Okay,
Same.
I've talked to people about this before. It's especially if you're on a world platform, you're there to bloody go for broke.
Yep.
How often do we get a chance to be on a world platform?
Yeah.
So freaking take a risk. Who wants to go 9 for 9 just because 9 for 9? And we all know how important it is to get a good total. And in fact, this argument is probably...
I went 9 for 9 once in my life. I've done over 60 competitions, a quarter of them internationals, 17 national titles across raw and equipped, bench only, and 3 lift. And yeah, I hit 9 for 9 once in my life. I won a lot of nationals going 4. I won 2 nationals going 4 for 9. It's like, it wasn't ideal, but if you can do it, if you got some tricks to play with on third attempts, then why not?
100%. It just takes balls, mate. And I was watching, as you do, because you live and breathe powerlifting when you're at an international meet, and you kind of try and attend as many sessions as you can to cheer on your team, etc., etc. And I was like, oh my God, this 9 for 9. There's so many conservative attempts going on here. Look,
yeah,
I was seeded third going into Masters Worlds in Sun City, and I actually achieved a silver medal, which I was really ecstatic about. I outlifted the girls on squat and the deadlift. I set a world record on my third attempt, which was then broken 30 seconds later by Sweden.
Damn Sweden!
But so the total gave me the silver medal overall at Worlds last year. But where it doesn't matter, like at Mega Nats, all I had to do was bloody total, and I would have easily met the QT, and I would have been going. I did have that aim of 400, which I'm ecstatic about. I'm more ecstatic about the bench press PB. But a 180 kilo deadlift was easily in me on the day, possibly 182. So, and the way, and look, who knows what's around the corner? I understand that more than most. But the way training's going at the moment, I'm feeling the strongest I've ever felt. I cannot believe training is just going bananas right now. And that's why I've begun to think, well, maybe that 200 deadlift is not such pie in the sky.
There you go.
Who knows?
You've been doing it for 10 years now, so you're probably starting to figure out what you're doing. You go,
it's about time.
All right, I know what I'm doing now. I've got this. I got a theory that you can't win worlds within your first 10 years of lifting. It's just not people just don't do it. And so some people will tell you, they go, oh, I've only been doing powerlifting for this amount of time. You strike me as the type of person that you started training with barbells and started powerlifting at about the same time.
No, I started, so I started training with barbells and resistance exercises in this tiny little gym in Sydney on the North Shore, just down the road from where the advertising agencies were, actually, where I used to work. And
do you remember the name of it?
Hey,
what was the name of that gym?
I cannot remember. I cannot remember. So that was literally when I was 25, and I'm 65 now. So that's a long time ago, Nathan. But I would do an aerobics class, and and then wander into the resistance area. And there was a section with all the barbell stuff and a section with all the machines and stuff like that, but with some, like barbell already loaded, those preloaded.
Oh, those preloaded
barbells.
ones. I love those.
Yeah. I started training in there and just poking my head around and looking at all these crazy idiots who were yelling and screaming and carrying on in the barbell area. I was like, what the fuck? Except I never ever said the F word in those days, I have to say. And my first programming was I bought Bev Francis, the bodybuilder. Do you know Bev? Yeah.
Bev Francis, Australia's greatest ever powerlifter and bodybuilder.
Yeah, that's right. I bought her book and I used to follow her programs.
Yep.
Yeah.
Hey, hard to go wrong. Hard to go wrong there.
Yeah. And then I taught Les Mills Body Pump, which is a barbell class. I taught that, I started in 1998 and I actually gave it away in early 2016. So I taught that class for years and years and years and years. I gave it away because I took up powerlifting, and the two styles of training were completely incompatible.
I was going to ask, how long did it take you to correct your squat from? Because to do those pump squats, you have to go fast, years. And you can't go full range with them.
No, it took years.
Still working on it.
It was all, it was it was just so funny because I still remember that one of the things that Les Mills training education for instructors was at the time was never allow your participants to go below parallel.
That's too deep. You're going to blow up.
I still remember one guy in one of my classes up here in Brisbane actually who was obviously, he loved body pump, but he obviously trained in the gym with real barbells, and he would do the deepest arse to grass squats in these body pump classes and still keep up with the beat. And I was just like, my eye kept getting drawn to him at the back of the class going, holy shit, how does he do it?
So we, at my gym up in Karratha, that was Kylie Lynch. She ended up, I think she did her instructor's certificate as well. She passed away over 10 years ago now. Really tragic. But that was her. She's like, no, we got to go arse to grass every single rep. I'm doing it. And so she learned how to squat really fast, like dive bomber style, and bounce out of the squat. But I figure you can do that on 21-year-old knees. And that hasn't played sport, but I think if I tried to do that with a rugby baseball background, trying to go that fast, I would just explode.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. So, and of course, the loads are light relative to our powerlifting loads. Yeah.
They're light for the first minute.
Oh, God, I was so fit then, Nathan. I was just so crazy fit, and I could tolerate the most enormous pressure in my muscles anyway, legs, whatever, arms, whatever we were training, just completely ignore that lactic acid burn. And it was so funny because the gym I train at now here in Brisbane they have challenges every now and then, physical challenges, fun. And this particular challenge, I thought, I'll have a go at that one. And it was as many leg extensions you can do on the seated leg extension machine at half your body weight.
Okay. That'd be fun.
I tried it twice. The first time I got 30 reps out and I died in my legs, the lactic acid. And then the next time I tried, I got 40 and I left it at 40. I thought, that's okay. That's pretty reasonable. But it just, and I was just saying, how strange it is, the different styles of training now that, in my body pump days, I would have pumped out those reps, no problem. But now in strength training days,
yeah, I think I think there's a lot to be said for extreme styles of training um, prior to taking up powerlifting. Because from the grumpy old man in me hanging around gyms now, most of the time people just don't train hard. Like I don't want to, it sounds a bit mean, but I think most people just have never quite learned how to train hard, and because we're taking this very kind and gentle and slow, conservative approach to powerlifting these days, which I must say is needed. It needs to be there. It's not a bad thing, but what we've lost is that is almost like the terror you can induce in training. You can put yourself through just by training crazy hard.
Yeah, and I agree with you. I mean, obviously you can't train like a maniac, HAM every day of the week for weeks and weeks and weeks on end. But I agree. I don't think people train as hard as they should. And the people I see training with intensity on everything they do, including their accessories, they are the most successful athletes around. And I think particularly too with older women is it's like, when I talk to people at meets and whatever, how do you train your squats and whatever, and it's like, oh, I might do a set here and a set there, and maybe I'll pick it up, 6 weeks later after having done nothing for 6 weeks, and then I'll start again, and then it's all, it's 20 kilos squats, and I'm like, for sets, and I'm like,
That doesn't.
that ain't how you do it. That's not
That
how you
seems
do
kind
it.
of boring. Where's the fun in that? I want to
Oh,
kill
mate.
myself year round. I want to be constantly sore and a little bit fatigued any day of the week. I want to understand where I am in the calendar by what hurts the most on my body.
Yeah, week 4 is the good one for me. Week 4, yeah.
With the Russian style high volume training, it was always end of week 3. We'd call it the Shako flu. You go, well, what's wrong? I go, I got the flu. Like you got a cold? Go, no. My body hurts. I find it hard to breathe, and I'm constantly hot and sweaty, and it's just like an overall ache. They go, oh, okay, Shako flu, gotcha.
Right, right, right,
Um,
right. Although I have to say, this is week 4 now, and it's training's just been blowing up. I'm like, what's going on?
just
I
just
feel
ride
like
it, keep going.
I just feel like I am. I am. Yeah, maybe next week 5, it'll be like I'll fall in a freaking heap. Who knows?
Well,
Um,
maybe this is the you just got over the hump towards 200 kilo deadlift. That
yeah,
this is the
there you
breakthrough
go.
period.
There you
Um,
go. We'll see how we
still
go with
still won't be
deadlifts.
able to bench much, but 200 kilo deadlifts. There we
Well, bench is boring, Nathan.
go. So they say. I really like the Australian resistance to ever being good at bench pressing. There's this idea, like when I first started traveling for powerlifting, they'd say, "Oh, an Australian lifter. Okay, so they got a pretty decent squat then." I go, "Yeah." They go, and I bet you they pull for world records at the end on the deadlift. I go, yeah, they do. And they go, and I bet they got a really shitty bench press. I go, that's right, they're Australian. That's how we that's what we seem to pump out. So when
Oh
I
dear.
started traveling, they go, Nathan, you're very not Australian. I go, I know, I can't deadlift, and I can actually bench press. So it's a big squat, big
Did you?
bench, and then hopefully, and then just have a big enough subtotal that I could convince people to try a deadlift that they shouldn't be trying, and that's how I used to win.
Yeah, there's a lot of strategy in there, isn't there? But did you have an athletic childhood? Like, were you into
Oh yeah,
rugby or?
I played every sport that was going around. My main sport, the sports that I loved and put the most time and effort into was baseball. That was my main one. I loved it. I wanted to be a major league baseballer. Devastated that I wasn't that good at it. And like I played in my last game was a state title, and it was the under 21s. I was 18, and I was already I was sort of getting looks at big rep teams, but I could tell
Wow.
the speed just got beyond me, and that's what happens in baseball. That I think the hardest challenge in all of professional sport is to hit a baseball off a major league pitcher, because that ball is moving at 140 kilometers plus from about 17, 18 upwards. The speeds just get crazy. And so if you can't adjust to the new speed of the game, you're out. And so I was out early, concentrated more on rugby then, because I was definitely built for rugby. I was good at it. I just wasn't allowed to play a lot of rugby when I was young. My mum didn't like it. So I got to 17, 18 and I had an income. I could play rugby and it didn't matter. So I got right into that.
You could pay for your own medical bills then.
Yeah, that's the one. And haven't I now? So I was on the flight from Dubai to Oslo. I was sat behind Honey Smith, the head of the technical committee for the IPF, and we got off at the same time. We're wandering down towards baggage claim and passport control and all that. And he said, "Oh, you recently had surgery again?" I said, "Oh, yeah, I had my shoulder replacement redone." And he said, which side? And imagine in Honey's accent, which side did you get done? I said, "Oh, my right side, Honey." And I looked at him, and I was about to say the next bit, and he said it for me. He goes, "Oh, you were a tight head." I go, "Yeah, I was." He goes, "Yeah, I got my right one done too." And so it just seems to be, so I had a total shoulder replacement on the right-hand side. It seems to be what tight head props get in their late 40s, early 50s.
How extraordinary.
So that's the shoulder that takes all the brunt of it, of those, of the engagements in the scrum.
Because you're leaning.
Yeah, because you got this arm is the left arm's wrapped around the hooker, and the right arm is the one that reaches out, binds onto the opposition, and you're really landing 800 kilos onto this shoulder several times a game. So in the end, it was just all this extra bone growing in there. However, it's what made me really good at bench pressing, because I couldn't do anything wrong. If I did anything wrong technically, I got pain right from day one. And so everything I did was about shoulder health. So that's why the Turkish get-ups and lots of kettlebell work, understanding shoulder mechanics. I had just done a physiotherapy degree as well, so I knew a lot about mechanics and prevention, all that. And so I built my bench press to stop shoulder pain. The best thing about having big, strong muscles around the joint is that they inoculate you from pain. So the stronger the muscles around the joint, the less pain you'll have from arthritis. So I was able to bench 340 kilos on a shoulder that needed surgery for about 10 years.
That is insane.
Yeah. But as long as you stay in the group, if you stay in that group, there's no pain. You're fine.
Yeah. But you still would have been training with some
discomfort,
some niggling pain, surely.
Yeah, my hip hurt so much more
little
than my shoulder.
Little messages that saying that wasn't quite the right groove, Nathan. Do it better next time, or
Yeah, I think because I could always get shoulder pain down to like a 1 or a 0, it didn't really bother me. My right hip, which I had a replacement on that in 2018. That was from falling over in a warm up room. There'd been talcum powder left on the platform, and I had 300 kilos on my back in warm ups and slipped on it, and that sort of
Holy shit!
Self rehabbed, did a whole bunch of stuff, but it was never. I was told that after that one, you're never going to squat again. Powerlifting's over, and that was my first powerlifting comp, and I just go, I don't believe you. I'm gonna do it anyway. So I did. It's why we pay HBF every year. So when you get to a certain age, they'll give you a $40,000 operation for next to nothing, which is what I got. So brand new hip. Some of the best squatters of all time have fake hips these days because it just got beat up from it all. But for me, the hip I was always in pain from the hip. So that kind of masked the pain from all the other places. Because that would never quite get my attention. The hip had my attention all the time, no matter what I was doing.
Yeah, right. Yeah. Again, though, on a gen pop, normal population people, they suffer something like that, and they just go, "I'm out."
Yeah.
life's over for me,
That's it. We're done.
and there's nothing. Yeah, exactly, and they end up, in a wheelchair or.
Yeah. So my hip surgeon is a bit of a guru on this side of the country for hip and knee replacements. He called my wife when I was in recovery, and he said, "How did Nathan get here today?" And she goes, "Oh, he walked." And he laughed. He goes, "Oh my gosh, what? Like he walked? Like did no cane, no assistance, like a walking stick at least?" And she goes, "No, he's never used one." And he goes, "Oh my god, how's he done it? There was so much extra bone growth in the socket and so I used to move my hip around the time, and you hear this click, 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 click. And I'm like, it's all
Oh,
right. It's
oh
a little bit
God.
uncomfortable, but it doesn't hurt. So move on. That was me chipping off little bits of bone fragment into the joint all the time. I did that for years. Uh, he saved the head of the femur. There was zero cartilage on it, not just a little bit or worn away. There was nothing. It
Wow.
was horrible.
Wow.
And so he says
Wow.
to me,
Crazy.
"Nathan, I've done about 20,000 of these now in my life, and that is by far the worst hip I've ever seen." And I felt such pride at that point. I go, "Oh, I won, I did it, I came first."
I'm the best at something.
Yeah, so I think it was because a little bit of the household I grew up in, and then a lot because I lived in the Pilbara with all these big, rough, tough guys where you just get on, you do it. Like we didn't
Uh-huh.
have much.
Yeah.
If you're in pain, oh well, okay.
Yeah.
People are in pain.
Yeah.
Are you
Yeah.
going to do it anyway?
Yeah.
I'll do it anyway. And
Yeah.
so I got
Yeah.
I got really good at meditating, so that helped a lot. Um, to the point where like pain just didn't bother me. I just go, "Oh, okay, yeah, it's pain. That's nice." And so without that, if and you can do that with all emotional responses, and this is how I train people as well, is being able to sit with really uncomfortable situations and not react to it and not respond to it and just let it be there. And so I got really good at just allowing pain to exist and not giving into it, not letting it bother me, not being distressed by it, and just moving through it until it wasn't center of my attention.
Until all of a sudden you're out the other side.
Yeah,
That's really interesting analogy
yeah, because
there between an emotional pain and physical pain.
pain is an emotion. Pain's an action signal. It's all output. Like we have nociceptors in the body, like these nerve endings that detect damage. But most of our pain it's a construction. So we construct pain, and it's an output of the central nervous system, not an input. Um, that's why we can do so many things that change the way pain is experienced without changing the tissue damage. So pain is never a good indicator of tissue damage. Sometimes it might be like me, where there's so much tissue damage you shouldn't be walking around, and you're a hazard to your health. Um, Obviously, the pain that I was experiencing didn't really accurately represent how bad the tissue damage was. But then there's also people that there'll be almost no tissue damage, and they're 9 out of 10 screaming this is the worst pain that they've ever experienced, and for them it is.
Yeah. Yeah.
But there is
Yeah.
never pain experienced without an emotion that goes with it.
Interesting. I have bilateral severe osteoarthritis in my knees. It was diagnosed about 5 years ago now, and yeah, there's just it doesn't stop me from
Yeah.
training. There's something I have to do every time I squat, which is to sit in a very, very deep squat, holding onto a pole in front of me. It looks ridiculous, with my ass down on my heels, and I rock forward and push into the knees
Mm-hmm.
until they are lubricated in some way. And in my head, I'm going, well, that's all the blood rushing into the joint.
Yeah.
Instead of the synovial fluid, it's blood. and,
It's
and then after
lubrication.
that,
It'll work.
yeah, well, and then after that, carry on. My father, unfortunately, has had several severe issues with his joints. He's had He's had a hip replacement. He is just about to have a knee replacement. He's elderly. He's 85. Um, I was down there a couple of weeks ago at Meganats. I stayed with them for a couple of nights, and he's just moving around so uncomfortably. He's in a lot of pain. But he keeps sending his physio my training videos and going, she's got severe osteoarthritis in her knees and she's 65 years old.
Mm-hmm.
He does it because he's proud of me, I know. But the physio has told Dad, he says, I can't believe it. I just cannot believe it. So, yeah, I do think the way you treat your pain is driven from here.
Yeah.
When I had the mastectomy, honestly, Nathan, 100% honest, I had zero pain relief post-op. Zero.
I believe it. Yeah, I believe it.
And that was because I did a lot of thinking, visualizing, etc. before the operation, and it was like, I do not expect to have any pain, and I didn't have any pain, and I got straight into the gym post-operatively, range of motion stuff, and then into the gym 3 or 4 days after, using bands and making sure that, and it was just like, carefully moving through that range, just finding the point where it's like, oh no, that's not, don't go any further than that. And then gradually expanding on the range of movement, getting under it, because I have a home gym, luckily, getting under an SSB, doing some light squats, doing body weight, heel raised goblet squats without the goblets hanging onto the pole with one hand, and with my drainage bag still hooked over my shoulder, and then deadlifts with a strap. Liz Craven gave an example of that when she smashed up her thumb, and I went, oh, so I bought one of those straps from Barmers, doing deadlifts without using my arms. And anyway, it was basically, I'll just let my body show me how far I can go.
Yep.
And wasn't expecting any pain and didn't have any pain. And I know other women who've had exactly the same kind of operation, exactly the same, and they're on bloody codeine for days and days after. And what the fuck for?
Yeah. Yeah, I think that's the great advantage of powerlifting and continually putting your body through stress year after year after year, is like the pain output is always a comparison to previous things, and then a predicted response. And so if your prediction is, oh gee, this is the most stress I've ever been through, you're going to have a pain output to stop you, from just pull you back. But you've got this whole library of movement where your brain goes, no, this isn't even a ripple yet. Like, we can handle way more. She's done way more than this. No pain signal. And so to find your threshold is just so far out there, because now you have this amazing history of overcoming all sorts of stuff. And it's like, yeah, I'll do it. It's what I do. It's another one.
Well, I love a lot of what the exercise physiologists do for people who suffer back pain, and they go to get professional advice and help how to use exercise to, address their pain or get stronger or whatever, or both. And a lot of that stuff is accustoming the mind and body to accustoming through a particular range of motion.
Yeah.
And even if that particular range of motion is what elicits pain. So it's accustoming. You know what I'm trying to say? And that's exactly what I'm doing every time in my warm-ups before squatting, and sitting down in the deep squat, rocking forward, pushing forward into my knees. It's accustoming the knees to that particular range of motion and that extent of the joint flexion. Yeah.
Yeah, it's the if it's your first time going anywhere, it's always kind of scary. But if you've been there a million times before, like, sitting in the bottom of the squat. I do heaps of that as well because my left knee, my surgeon's always, every time I see me, he says, I'm going to give you a fake knee one day, Nathan. I know where there's a shop in Boston. I'm going to design it specifically for you. You're going to
Oh,
get a knee
wow.
replacement. I'm like, okay, let's see. Let's see. And so I've been, over the last 5 years, every year when I have an MRI, my knee looks a little bit better. And
Wow.
it kind of angers him a little bit. He goes, "This isn't, Nathan. This is not meant. It's meant to be the other way around. If I didn't know better, I would say they've got the dates on these wrong." I'm
But
going,
in terms of the articular
yeah,
surfaces, it's getting better.
yep,
Can that happen?
yeah. It can. This is one of the fun things about being in the area of science I'm in. Is we've known about this for a really long time. And we know that it takes about 50 years for doctors to upgrade their textbooks. So in 20 years' time, they might update what is and isn't possible. But it's very, there's a lot of anecdotes now, a lot of case studies where people have regrown torn ACLs, people regrown cartilage, all those kind of things. It is doable.
Wow.
It involves training
Crazy.
a lot differently. Like I don't
Yeah.
really do a lot of reps on anything.
Uh-huh.
So for anything with squats, it'll be a 2-minute squat. I'll just hold the bottom position. Sometimes I'll just hold the bottom position and do different stuff. And it would be like eye drills or balance drills, but holding that bottom position of the squat for 2 minutes. So I'm building up those really, really thick, stiff tendons, which
Yep.
as we get older is really important for still being dynamic and being able to move explosively. So I just work on that, and that
100%.
keeps my squat in check. Like I can still not squat for a year and go out and squat 220, 230 without too much trouble. Yeah.
It's pretty damn good. Well, you know how the IPF banned stiff knee sleeves and then reinstated them. So I've been wearing stiff inses for a couple of years now, and of course I was quite devastated when they banned them, thinking, oh fuck, my knees. Am I allowed to swear?
I need them.
Am I allowed to swear?
Oh,
But
it's too bad if you're not.
You'll have to bleep bleep bleep.
I don't edit. I don't edit anything. I just it's all going to be in there.
Language warning. Oh, anyway.
I'll just flick that button on Spotify going, language warning on this one.
Exactly.
This woman
one of my
swears
favourite words.
She swears a whole fucking lot. Fuck yeah.
I was devastated because I'm thinking, I've got fucked knees. My knees are fucked. And, basically every day they hurt, but hey, I'm used to it.
Yep.
And, I do what I need to do every time I squat. So it doesn't bother me while I'm squatting, so why should I? Yeah. But it was just, oh my God, what am I going to do? Anyway, I was tossing up in my head every night. I'm going, oh, should I go APL? Should I stay in the IPF? If I stay in the IPF, I'm going to have to transition to those SPD soft sleeves, which are like, wrapping wet toweling around your knees, and that, or I'll go APL where, I know they'll be extremely welcoming, and I can still wear my stiff sleeves, blah, blah, blah. Anyway, so then I thought, fuck it, woman. You're not waving the white flag now. That's my favourite song. That's my favourite song.
There we go.
The white flag song.
The white flag.
Yeah. Flares are going up. And I thought, no, I'm not going to, no, I'm not going to bloody, throw away 10 years of powerlifting in the sport I love on the expectation that I cannot actually go to soft sleeves. So I thought, this is what I'm going to do. And I told Kelly, and she's been supportive, and I bought soft sleeves and from SPD, and I'm wearing them on my secondary night. So I squat twice a week. So Tuesdays and Thursdays. Tuesdays are the secondary and Thursdays are the primary night. So I'll still wear my stiff sleeves on the primary night for now and the soft sleeves. And the amazing thing is, like, after the first 2 weeks, like, my knees were cactus. they really hurt, and and it was tenderness, jointiness. And also the in the front of the knee with the zero cartilage, or that kind of stuff, right? So I was in a I was in a bad way, and thinking, oh, there's no way I can make that switch. And then all of a sudden, it was like something clicked the switch, and in the third week, it was like, holy shit, knees? Who's got knees?
We got this. Yeah.
Yeah, and then last night, soft sleeve night. It's like, oh my god! I realised that in 4 short weeks, I'd put on 15 kilos on that bar, and I'd increase working sets from 2 to 6 in my soft sleeves, and I was not experiencing any more pain. And in fact, when I do get to my Thursday primary night session, because I'm not relying on the bounce out of the hole that you necessarily get with the stiff sleeves, my squat on primary night in my stiff sleeves is going through the roof.
So tell me, do people, like, are they in the stiff sleeves all the time, or in the sleeves that they compete in all the time? Because it certainly seems like that to me from what I've picked up wandering around gyms lately.
Well, I trained both secondary and primary nights, and my pendulum squats. I trained them all in the stiff sleeves.
Yeah, right. Okay,
Yeah,
that's funny.
yeah.
That's really interesting, because I know.
Mm.
Obviously, when I started, we all wore single ply soft suits and knee wraps, and we would almost never be in the equipment. Like I didn't. Yeah, what is it? Even on like speed days, if I'd do like 10 sets of 2 at anywhere between 40 and 60%, and then add bands and chains to it, because West Side is cool. Looks really fun doing that stuff.
That's really hardcore.
And I'd never put on knee wraps or knee sleeves for doing that. So that way, anytime I put anything on, it was always going to be an advantage. So I trained. I think we used to train more raw than what raw lifters do now, and we were lifting in equipment. We just never wanted to have anything on the body that was going to take away from our strength. We always wanted to make sure that we were super strong, and then we'd put equipment on to be stronger.
Yeah, it's the old train hard, fight easy concept, isn't it?
That's the one. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I did a lot of no belt work as well, which I see these days has kind of disappeared. That I watch people with an empty bar put a belt on. I'm like, oh, interesting. Okay.
Oh, surely not. Really?
Yeah.
Oh, come on.
And
You're exaggerating.
No, not exaggerating. And it's young people. And I always.
What?
It'll be me. I'll be on the curved walker on the side of the gym, and I just sort of tilt my head and go, "That's interesting. Can you tell me the rationale there?" Oh, well, I need to make every set like it would be on the platform. I'm like, okay, fair enough,
Yeah,
fair enough. And then I always go, "You said the word need," and then they go, "Yeah, I need to." I go, "Do you need to though? Do you really need to?" And then they just look at me weird, like I'm old and don't know what I'm talking about. And I go, "Oh, have at it. Go for your life, whatever."
Welcome
But
to
I'll
my
always
world.
question,
You're
like,
old.
this.
You know nothing.
What do you know? Nothing at all.
Exactly.
It is funny in my gym. I don't think most of the gym don't realize I even lifted. Some people go, "Oh yeah, he did a lot of refereeing. He's a really great referee." And if they said that, they'd be right.
Too,
I am a great referee. I like me refereeing. I think I said this before. I used to get so frustrated seeing 70-year-old men in red ties on platforms at world championships. It was just demoralizing walking out, just going, all right, yeah, I'm going to get a 5-second pause on my chest. I'm going to have to squat 2 inches deeper. I'm going to have to hyperextend my knees when I lock out my deadlift to get a white light from this guy. And so a bunch of us just said, well, let's just all get our referee tickets and we'll referee each other and we'll get rid of these guys. And so that's what we did. So hopefully I have a reputation for being more on the side of the lifter than not, because I think as referees, our job should be trying to get as many lift passes as possible, not trying to find as many technicalities as possible to rule someone out. because it's easy to find a red if you look hard enough. You can be
100%.
pedantic and annoying,
Yeah,
and I
a
don't that
100%.
that doesn't do anything for anybody. It's not a competition between referee and lifter. Like, we're not the enemy, and the lifter certainly isn't the enemy of a referee. Um,
Mm.
but yeah, so yeah, lifters here go, oh yeah, he used to be a referee, used to see my comps all the time. I go, oh okay, that's cool. And then when they find some of them is slowly finding out that I did lift. I'm going, yep, I did a fair bit, and now some of them are starting to
They're pretty
find
good.
out the numbers that are lifted,
Yeah.
including, I'm going to call him out on this one because I love him to bits. Actually, I love whoever the next big super is. It's a thing that super heavyweights do. We find out who's the biggest big boy at the moment, and that's our guy. So Jackson Stubbs for me, I love him. I
Oh
think,
yeah, yeah,
and
yeah.
he's just such a beautiful, wonderful soul as well. I think he's gorgeous. And so I called out one of his lifters in a private message. I was just going, hey man, like, yeah, this is my opinion. And he took it on board. He was really gracious with it. And then we got chatting, and he said, what did you used to bench? What were your numbers? And I told him, and he just goes, oh fuck. I'm like, yeah, they were, at the time they were top of the world kind of numbers. Which reinforces what I used to say to, I spoke about Rex before, and I'd tell Rex all the time, nobody remembers your records once you're gone. As soon as you finish, 5 minutes after you finish lifting, nobody gives a shit about what you lifted, but they will remember if you're a dick. So just don't be a dick. And that's all of powerlifting. And that's held true. 5 minutes after I retired, nobody remembered what I lifted, but a lot of people remembered me as being kind and generous and funny and always willing to help. So I go, well, that's what I want to be remembered for. Whether or not they remember me as somebody that lifted the bench pressed over 300 kilos for a really long time in a lot of different places, that would be nice. But I'd much rather be known as the guy that was really friendly and inviting and helped people out at competitions and treated everybody with respect. I think that's a way better legacy than a 340 bench.
Yeah, 100%. 100%. You can get your 5 minutes of fame with a world record if you're lucky.
Even then, most people don't
If you're
even realize that
lucky.
it was a record when you're doing it.
But yeah, the memory, the memory of, as you say, how somebody treated you or treated other people is really the legacy you want to leave behind. Which reminds me, I really love the little stories you pop up. That quite frequently now that the algorithm knows that I'm interested in your profile, I see them quite frequently. And I remember
Now,
one that was
not that I actually post a
recently
little bit
was,
seriously.
don't be a dick.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's good advice.
I love that one because I've heard it on podcasts from other lifters now. That because I would just tell people all the time, this is my theory, and the first time I heard myself quoted was from LS McLean, who was a great US lifter, and after he won worlds for the first time, and everybody wanted to interview him because LS is he's a real sweetheart. He's awesome, and he said Nathan Baxter told me that no one cares what you lift, but they'll remember if you're a dick, and so it started getting pushed around a bit. At Meganats just recently gone, I spoke to Victor Liu, who I think he lives in Sydney now. When I met him, he was a sub junior lifting at Melbourne Uni Powerlifting Club. Poor kid. Um, that was a weird club. It still is a weird club.
under
Wonderfully
under
weird.
Voldemort.
Yeah, he was obviously he went in, he grabbed the sorting hat, and they're going, "Yeah, you're Slytherin," and so he stayed. Became Melbourne Uni Powerlifting Club, and Victor said when Adam Jones went and trained there that Adam would say this, that same thing that I told him, and so Victor has told every junior lifter now for about 10 years, no one cares what you lift, but they'll remember if you're a dick. And I'm going, cool. All right, we've got the message across. That's all that really matters.
Yeah, gosh, yeah, that's pretty. That's a great accomplishment.
So I'm happy
And
with that.
probably a good time to end our little session because I've actually got an appointment just up the road at 1, so I'm going to have to make
There
a
you go.
move.
All righty. It's been wonderful chatting. It's been
lovely
wonderful
chatting with
asking
you.
one out of the 36 questions I was going to ask you. We can get you back on. We can ask. We can split them up into as many brackets as you want.
Yeah, it might be interesting. I mean, if you want to, but yeah, I'd
let's
be
see how
happy
it
to do
goes.
that. Gosh, well, we've managed to just. I mean, that we've now talked for 2 hours and 4 minutes, and
Yeah.
it's just flown. I've super enjoyed chatting with you, Nathan. It's been fantastic.
Loved having you on. Let's do it again.
Thank you. All right. Have a great day.